Uyghur, Kazakh, and other Turkish Muslim minorities in concentration camps. And with Radio Free Asia Uyghur service, they call the Chinese, call Uyghurs official, more than 500,000 Uyghur were sentenced to 5 to 15 years, men and women. They are all moved to China's prison inside China. And all the kids whose parents were detained, sent to the Chinese orphanage. They're educated in totally new environment of strange culture, not with the Uyghurs or Muslim identity. And this was published by the Chinese government's website, and immediately after we pushed it onto the newspaper, Chinese government took it down. And this was, they were saying, this is an education camp. And after we asked, what is the education camp the police doing over there? And this is a big masjid. In the beginning I introduced, it's Edgar Jama in Kashgar. And now you can see no people over there, no grave. And with this very precious, depressed presentation, I give you a little bit in light. Uyghurs cuisine pretty much is Central Asian style, and it's all halal. Large amount of lamb consumption. Daily we are eating naan. It's a different kind of naan. This is a woman baking the naan in the tunor. We call this tunor. I don't know if it's same as in other region. Naan, I know we are all same. And this is called marta. This is lamban, polo, samsa. It's very tasty. Invite you to DC. We have a few restaurants. You can enjoy in DC. And this is kebab, chushu, lamb meat, vishnan, meat naan. This is horma chub, and this was whole lamb kebab. It's unique in Uyghurs region. And when Erdogan visited Urumqi in 2010, this is the governor. He was get arrested 2 months ago. I happened to know him 10 years ago. I had a few conversations with him, but now he is under arrest and in jail. And the accusation is not following the party's guideline. And Uyghur people is cursing him, saying he is a betrayer, he is a traitor. But finally, unexpectedly, he was get arrested by Chinese. Now he will be facing lifelong sentence, I'm assuming, because the accusation was very This is the Chinese governor, party boss. He is the boss actually in our region. He is only the puppet. And this is our dress, typical Uyghur dress. This is pretty much in the Uyghur region's north part, Uyghur man dress like this. This is the south part, Uyghur dress more like this. Probably that's because of this dress is more come from nomadic life, because the north part we are still, a lot of Uyghur is still in nomad life, and some in still having a lot of horse or lamb and sheep. So this is typical in south part. And this called the dokpa, and it's also very typical in a different region, have different, this is for women, it's very beautiful when it's wearing. This is for the woman, different tumak, it's called. This is called the tumak, also very different for the woman, and beautiful. And thank you for your time and attention. Last Uyghur word, Rahmat Slavian.
Right. Sheikh Hassan, should we go for questions, or maybe 10 minutes of question and then we break? Okay, so brothers, I please request, because we still didn't get a microphone, please request state your question loud enough so the sisters can hear it. And maybe I can start at first. Brother, maybe you can tell us your personal experience with this activism that you're doing for the Uyghur plight and question how much it costs you.
Okay. I was following, be frank, I was educated totally in Chinese education system, in language sometimes, especially when it's come to writing. I'm more Chinese than Uyghur because I was from elementary school I went to the Chinese. And I immediately, when I went to the Chinese school, immediately faced the discrimination. One example, one day I was late in the class, it was winter, and the Chinese teacher said, "Come on in, Elshad." Because usually if you were late, they will punish us to stay outside for a while for the late coming. And teacher said, "Come in, Elshad. I know you are Uyghur people, Muslim, don't have the early get-up habit. The undertone is you are lazy people. So you have no need to come early. It's okay for you." So this kind of, probably I say it's not intentionally try to insult me because of their ignorance of our culture. We all know we have to get up to pray in the early morning, probably more than early than other one. But they don't know. So this kind of discrimination also comes with some food difference. So starting that difference influencing me, and after I graduated from university, come back to become teacher, then I felt more that discrimination from the administration. And they always say, "Oh, you are Uyghur, you are different." One time, I bring my student to a factory for the internship, and the Chinese boss said, "We don't want any minority, because in my student have Kazakh, Uyghur." I said, "Why you don't need Uyghur?" Because here is Uyghur Autonomous Region. This should be our land and our under our administration. Why are you rejecting us? And he said, "You are Muslim. We can't offer food for you, and Muslim is not following the rule. Sometimes they come to work, sometimes they just leave without any notice, do not tell us." I say, if that's the case, that's your responsibility to educate people, educate your employee, and I will help you. But he said, "No, we don't want it." Then that's another one. So this kind of discrimination put me a lot of time opposite the government, but I wasn't totally against them. And later, they announced in 2001, they started to ban any student, teacher, government employee to fast, to go to mosque, to pray. Then I was on other side of the administration. So I did some appealing to the central government. I write a letter to the governor, and then started this conflict, and the police started to visit me. And then some of my friends got arrested. I was brought to the police station. I was tortured. My teeth was broken by when they beat me, and twice they electrified me in that interrogation. I was fainted away, and my whole body was blood because my teeth and mouth was bleeding. And then later, one of Uyghur, he is in the secret service, and he told me, "Elshad, you need to leave. If you are not leaving, you will be dead or in jail." So then I managed to get a passport and fled to Malaysia because I was on the blacklist. I can't get passport, I can't leave the country. I tried that way, no, didn't work. And police openly told me, "You are not allowed to leave the country. You stay here until you retire. If we allow you, then you can go to overseas." Then I got the passport and fled to Malaysia. I immediately applied for political asylum, and then I started in Malaysia, speak to the Radio Free Asia and writing in Chinese to expose the Chinese atrocity. I arrived in Malaysia 2003 in November, and in 2004 November, my brother was killed by the Chinese mob. Because when I left, I don't want anyone to know I'm leaving, running away. So I didn't say goodbye to my younger brother. He was the youngest one. We are 5 siblings. He is the youngest one. I was assuming, even if 20, 40 years I come back, he will be there to welcome me. But by God's, Allah's will, I didn't expect he was the first one to leave. And that's for whole life for me to feel guilty. I didn't say goodbye to him. And I wasn't in his side when the Chinese mob stabbed him to death in a restaurant. My sister told me he died on the site. And then I came as a refugee in the US. Then I continued my struggle for the human rights. In 2014, one morning I received a phone call from my second sister, and she told me, elder sister, her house was broken by the Chinese police and grabbed her. Her house was mass. They searched the whole house midnight, 12 o'clock. And she was single mother with 2 kids. And I asked my sister where they took her. And my second sister told me the police told them that was order from the national government, from the central government, and no one, the police said, even we don't know where she was taken. Only your brother in America, if he call us back, then we will tell. You can send money and send something else, but no one can visit her. Since then, I got lost with my elder sister connection. And after a week, again I called my second sister, third sister, no one picked up my phone. And in 2014, I got another news. My father passed away because of my brother's killing and my sister's arrest. My father couldn't bear more, and he was sick after my sister was get arrested, and he passed away in 2015, 5th of April. And I called my mother after I got my father's passed away, the news once a month. And when I called last time in 2015, I remember it's August, my mother picked up the phone and said, Elshad, we had enough, son, let Allah protect you. I'm good with you. I'm proud of you. I have a son. Take care of yourself. Don't call us again. We had too much. And then that's the end. Until now, I don't know if my mother's still alive, or she's in jail, or in concentration camp, or other place. I called the phone again, my sisters, my uncles, my nephews, no one picked up phone. I tried all my best. I have some Chinese dissident friend in New York. I asked them, can you find out if my mother alive? And the comeback news is, your family's, any news about your family, it seems like a state secret. We couldn't get anything. So still, I don't have any news. Just before I start this, I received a phone call from Washington, one of my friend, Uyghur friend. He left a voice message. I didn't pick up phone. I was ready in the, and in the phone message, he said, brother, I have very bad news from hometown. Means back in our hometown. I don't know what is that news. I was a little bit nervous. Hope, inshallah, it's not about my mother. Pray pray for that. Yeah, that's my story. But it's not only Ilshad's story. All Uyghur, if you search Google, YouTube, Mekabül Tursun, another one young lady. She just came to US last year. She gave testimony in Congress. She gave an interview to the different media. She was get arrested with 3 kids. 1 kid died in the concentration camp. She was held in the concentration camp in 6 months. She was Egyptian citizen, but she is Uyghur. She married an Egyptian. She went back to Urumqi to visit his parents, and she was held in the concentration camp. And in her cell, 69 women was in one small cell. And they couldn't go to sleep because of the space limitation. So each night, 4 to 6 ladies have to in turn stand on the side so others can sleep and 2 hours, 12. The Chinese government's explanation for that is we try to prevent suicide inside, so the person standing was watching for them. And in her testimony, within 3 months, in that single cell, 9 women died. And they brought their cellmate's body to outside. She was crying when giving this testimony. And another one, we were journalist lady, Guljaika Puja. Also she has a lot also testimony in YouTube. Her 20s more her relative, all is in concentration camp. Her father was 80-some years old, also in concentration camp. And recently, because the US government's interference and the pressure, one of her aunt was released, but she lost mind. She lost mind. She's already broken. So this is not only a few. It's whole Uyghur people in overseas. We are all suffering. Dear friend, I can't go to sleep like a normal time. Anytime if I'm working in daytime, 8 hours, concentrate on the work, I feel more comfortable. When I'm back home and when I'm alone, sometimes I always sleep very late. Then when my mom comes to my mind, my sister, the guiltiness, it's torture. I know, even if I didn't do that, a lot of Uyghurs didn't do like me against the Chinese government, but still their relatives in concentration camp. But I can't get rid of that guiltiness. Because of me, I feel whole my family was broken. If it's not me, probably my brother wasn't killed. If not me, probably my sister wasn't get arrested. If not me, my father wasn't died. I know that's Allah's will, but still, as a human being, we have that sad, we have that pain, and that's the reality now we are facing.
What Chinese want from Uyghur? What do they want to do to you? What is the goal of this policy?
Their policy goal, it has a website called Bitter Winter. That is I believe it's a overseas Chinese group's news website. They recently, 1 or 2 months ago, they leaked out one document from China. Within 5 years plan, the whole China planning to Sinicize Islam. Their goal is eliminate all different ideology, all different elements from the Chinese historical culture, and the Uyghurs' culture is Turkish, Central Asian, and different with the Chinese, the food, the dress. So they are now enforcing Uyghur to dress as a Chinese, ancient time Chinese dress. Even the Chinese not dressing like that now, but they are enforcing Uyghur to dress like ancient Chinese cultural, traditional dress. So this is the Chinese, I study a lot of Chinese history. They have one saying, it's very old. If you are not my people, you are my enemy. In Chinese say, 非我族类，其心必敌, which means if you are not my group, you are my enemy. So in the cultural, historical background from the Chinese, Princeton University have a Chinese scholar. He wrote a book. It's called Me and Others. And in the book, he concluded the Chinese empire was gradually become others to me, we. Then they become the big empire. Actually, it was patched up an empire now. It's historically all these different people. And one time I was giving a lecture to the Chinese. I'm more comfortable in speaking in Chinese. And I told them, one Uyghur from the east, most east part of the East Turkestan, border with China, and from there, if he westbound to go, he can go to Istanbul, even to Bulgaria, without any translator, because the language almost all is the same. We can understand each other. But one Chinese from Beijing to Shanghai, it's 2-hour train distance. If one Chinese from Beijing go to the Shanghai, if Shanghai people speak their traditional language, the Chinese cannot understand it, because it's totally different language. So this is the difference. And but the Chinese central government now try to eliminate anything different with that. That's the problem. They try to, Uyghur is left over the last one inside the Chinese rule, different people. So they are focusing now to make Uyghur or Chinese or get rid of. Yes, sir.
Are they targeting primarily Muslims or other people of other faiths as well?
Now is all faiths. In the beginning, it was only Uyghur and Kazakh, the Muslim. And last year, and end of the last year, they started cracking down on underground Christian. China had 2 Christian groups. One is government sanctioned, government appointed bishops, something, and another one called underground Christianity. The underground was very strong, the big population. They set up a lot of church. They bombed the church, they burned the cross, starting from end of the last year. And just 2 months ago, they again demolished 2 Buddhist temples, very big one, and also bombed 2 big statues of Buddhism. So the Chinese government now seems like back to the old fundamentalism communist ideology. What is it?
Like the Mao Zedong?
Yes, Mao Zedong, exactly. The Mao Zedong's fundamentalism communist. And they are all religion or all others become their enemy. So they are cracking down to Muslim and also the Buddhist and also the Christianity. And one I forgot to tell, Uyghurs have a very famous scholar. He studied in Azhar. His name is Muhammad Saleh Haji. And in 1980s, the government commissioned him to translate the Quran from Arabic to Uyghur. His one is the first Uyghur language Quran translation. And he was appointed to become the communist government set up in Urumqi Islamic College. He is a president of the Islamic College and also the president for Islamic Society in China for a while. And end of 2017, he was rounded up, sent to the concentration camp. At the time, he was like 88 or 80 something. And after a month, he gave his family his body, his death. Yes?
But I saw during the presentation you had a picture with Winston Churchill sitting in the gathering. What is his relevance to your country?
What is that?
You had a picture of Winston Churchill.
Yalta.
Oh, Yalta.
Yeah.
That's in end of this, almost close to end of the Second World War. Winston Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin had a meeting in current Crimea's Yalta city. In that city, in this Yalta meeting, the Roosevelt from American president, and he gave away too much to the Stalin, and in that giveaway also include East Turkestan. At the time I gave the second East Turkestan Republic, and give that to the Stalin to make decision, and also Mongolians. That's why I use that picture, because that Yalta meeting also decided our future in that meeting. And yes?
I want to make a comment. See, his ideology is what is causing the whole disruption of all the world within the Muslim world. Because his ideology was, if you want to conquer a nation or you want to destroy a nation, you do not attack them by war, but you attack them by changing their mentality. And they work within the youths, and they eradicated the old and the intellectual and destroy the books, and then they work within the youths. And this is how these guys destroy nations and destroy cultures. That's why I asked you, what's relevant to your country?
Yeah, thank you.
I know there are more than Uyghur Muslims there in China, and I know we have like the people who go to the rest of China for trade. They say they have most. And on the other hand, there are about 40, 50 million over there in China. So are they facing the same thing? And on the other hand, also, let's say about before the communism came in, don't like Buddhism was part of the Chinese culture?
Yes, Uyghur is 11 million with the Chinese censor, and also have close to 15 to 20 million Hui Muslim, some call it Chinese Muslim. They are inside the China, mainly in the Ningxia Hui Muslim Autonomous Region. Previously, they were treated different. In our region was cracking down, but in the Ningxia and Hui Muslim region, there wasn't any interference. They have an Islamic school, they have Arabic school, and even in the TV news, the Hui Muslim having the hijab to can give some presentation. But now they are facing the same. With this 5 years Sinicization of the Islam, they also targeted the Hui Muslim. So now a lot of Hui Muslim also facing the same discrimination. And last year, around December, 2 mosques in Qinghai was demolished, and some Hui imam was get arrested. All the Arabic school was closed, shut down. So they are facing the same. And in terms of come to the Chinese society, if they are Buddhism, it's a kind of Buddhism, but not what we understand as a Buddhism theory in China is a little bit different. The Chinese Buddhism is mixed with the Chinese Confucianism, Taoism, and Chinese. So this all mixed together. It's a totally Chinese style Buddhism. It's different with India or the Tibetan. Yeah, sorry.
It's not like the Tibetan?
No, it's different with the Tibetan. Thank you. Yes?
So nowadays, what do Uyghurs want? They just want harmony in China in general, or do they want to bring the East Turkestan?
In this day, if you ask any Uyghur, after we were treated in the concentration camp, I would say it's a genocide now we are facing, how we can live together with them.
So before maybe now is it?
Yeah, before was some Uyghur, like the governor I just showed, they were thinking we can live together. Some promoted that ideology, but now